And it was just going to be, I never would have guessed it would have got to where we're at right now. It was never my anticipation. I had no idea we were going to get here, but I think where this started to turn is we're like, hey, we can make this work, and we can let people come in and be themselves. We can have 1320 come in and help us. We can have Bang Shift come in and help us, but we can also have these guys that are at the time we didn't know what a influencer was because it was all new stuff to us, but YouTube was around and whatnot. And we started letting everybody do their own thing. They were all making their own videos and posting them and doing this and that. And then we started realizing, hey, we can bring these people's family members into this because we're doing it in the summertime, and we can make this a family-oriented event. And not knowing at the time, I don't believe we didn't know what we were doing, but what we really were doing is we were bringing wives and children and people that would have never been into the motorsports era of what we're doing. Now we created this full circle. So now, and then you have stars that are being born from this, all this information is getting out there to a point where now it's not just drag week. It's not just race week. It's drag and drive, because now everybody knows what we're looking at. But in the grand scheme of it, even today, it's a very small thing. We've seen, bracket racing, and we've seen 10-5 outlaw, and we've seen no prep and all that stuff going on for a long time. This situation here is still new, and people are still converting their stuff over, and it's booming right now. Like, this is a huge deal. And everybody keeps asking me. Sorry, I'm rambling here, but
no,
ramble, dude. Do it.
You're doing fine.
Everybody keeps asking me, what do you think about with all of these things blowing up and everything going on? And it scares me a little bit. And the reason I say that it scares me a little bit, everybody says, there's room for everything, and I agree to a certain extent. But there's also some situations that we've seen in the past. No prep is a prime example. You had the Shannon Morgan races, and you had some of these big ones that were huge payers and huge deals, and Armageddon and whatnot. Well, then everybody decided, hey, I can put a no prep race on. I can put a no prep race on. And I don't think that maybe necessarily those races being put on hurt it, but what hurt it is you have all these guys now that want to be promoters. And I'm not saying I'm a promoter by no means either, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I still probably don't to a certain extent. But you have to make sure that when you go to put something like this on, that you can follow through with it. If you say you're going to pay it out, you got to make sure you pay it out. If you say that you're going to finish the deal and you're going to do it, you got to do it. Because what happens, just like with no prep, people were showing up, or 2 days before the race or whatever, they were canceling them, or, we can't do the payout now because we don't have enough cars. That's what hurts what we do. I mean, it really does. And people start getting into it for the wrong reasons. People are looking at it from a monetary value instead of, we did this for heart and soul of this kind of racing. We did this as, it wasn't about getting rich. It wasn't none of that stuff. It was about, let's put this back out there and bring people together. You have what happened 30 years ago was guys still driving their cars to the track. They were still cruising Main Street. They were still out on the open road. The speed limits were lower, right? And then so you had all that. And some of us, there's our age group or whatever, in your 40s and your late 30s and so on. Remember that. And we want to get back to that. And you have younger generations that never got to experience that are trying to experience it by doing these kind of events. So that's what this brings in. And people have to remember to stay true to what that is. And you also have to remember, as a participant, to remember why you are doing this. That is what this is about. It's about memories. It's about, camaraderie. It's about going down those 2-lane blacktop roads. And it's about stopping at gas stations, and just all the things that are purposely what this is about. It's, there's a lot of stuff that goes on where we're seeing TV shows, and we're seeing celebrities and all that stuff. There is that, and you're going to run into those guys at these events. Those guys are going to be doing these things. But I just hope that everybody remembers where we came from and why we are doing this.
No, and that's no joke, dude. I mean, it's 100% true. You get out there, and I don't even care where you come from, man. You got a 12-second car, you have a 6-second car. If you show up on something like this, you really never show up thinking like, man, I can't wait to bring home that 15K or that 25K or whatever it is. Not a single person. And if you are doing that, dude, you're doing it wrong. 100% doing it wrong.
It's not for the right values. It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
If you show up with whatever car you've got, and again, perfect example, Drag Week 2014. Matt Frost driving I think your car was in the mid 7s at that point.
Yeah.
Nova. And I was in an 11-second Malibu. And again, we had never met each other, not once, not done nothing. And in fact, we weren't even cruising together. You kind of had your sort of group, and I was kind of doing my group, and we were doing our thing and whatnot. But it just happened to cross. Like, oh man, this guy is from an hour north of me, and he's got a mid 7-second badass car that he's struggling with right now. Like, I wonder what we can do to help them out. And we ended up staying at the same hotel, and you guys were racked out sleeping. And I was talking to Zach about it a little bit, and he was like, man, we are just struggling with that Nova, man. But that's one of those things. Like, you come out of the closet, you can't think that you're going to show up and just win this stuff. You show up, you drive, you do your thing. And honestly, you meet so many people with so many like minds. And it doesn't matter if you got a mid 7-second car or a mid 6-second car or a 14-second car. You're sitting at the gas station, filling up your car next to Joe Barry. And you're like, wait a second, what the hell just happened? Like, I'm a rock star and I didn't even know it.
Right.
And really, that's the thing. Like, the goal, the thing, the everything. And like Sharon Klausner just says, the experience is everything.
It is.
The experience is everything.
And you're going to see that. I encourage that. I think it's great that all these are coming out. The smaller ones are really good for the event. The bigger ones are. I just feel like we don't know, because we're going into uncharted territory on how this is going to come out. Either two things are going to happen. We're really going to have this really open up, and there's going to be people pushing to get their cars done. I think we're going to see a dip if that's the case, because I think you're going to have so many events that you're trying to spread what is out there right now out across that. I think you may see a dip in that. If we don't see a dip in that, then we may see a spike and we may see a drop. I don't know. Like, nobody knows. Everybody out wants to talk that they think that it's great and it's not going to affect it, but there is going to be a cause and effect with this, and we haven't figured out what that's going to be yet. We will know, and we're going to even know, like, just in the next couple of days, we're going to see if that tick changes, and it'll kind of give us an idea of indicator of where we're headed with this. I 100% wanted to do what we all wanted to do. We want everybody to start realizing what this is, get their cars converted over to a drag and drive type of car, and go out here and enjoy this, because all it's going to do is help everybody in the industry, whether it's parts, whether it's the people in the little towns, yep. all of it. I mean, there's nothing that negative that could happen that way, as long as it ends up going the direction that we think that it's going to go, and cross our fingers that it does. But just keep in your mind, you guys, just remember when you're looking at this, like we said, do it for the right reasons. Make sure that you support the guys that have been out there and helped you out along the way, and make sure that you're continuing to support those events, because the ones that have been there for a while are going to continue to be there. And, we may see a high spike and a low spike in some of this stuff, but as long as everybody can continue to support what is out there that's been there for a long period of time, then it'll be there for you when everything goes up and down.
Well, and dude, sorry, Chad. No, from a little guy, dude. I raced at Vandermeer my whole life. I live 5 minutes from Vandermeer. That's my jam, dude. I go there. Occasionally go to Julesburg, occasionally go to Pueblo. But dude, for a little guy, especially 13, 14 second dude with a street car trying to figure out his life, all of a sudden you go to all these new racetracks, opens up your whole world, your whole mind to everything. And you see goods and bads from your local racetrack, which is not kind of the idea necessarily, right. But getting out, seeing the world and doing it in your race car, it's a whole different thing. Pull that car out of the garage, put the thing on the street, and get it onto some tracks that, dude, your friends and family may have never even heard of.
Right. And
you're out there doing it and making that stuff happen. And the far-reaching effects, the what am I trying to say? The dribble effect, if you will. Dude, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Well, and I want to make sure that everybody understands one thing too, is that, there is a lot that goes into putting on one of these events, right? Whether it's Rocky Mountain Race Week or any of the others. And it's a big expense. It takes a ton of work. But at the same time, understand that because we are all three racers who race in Rocky Mountain Race Week and Drag Week and all these other events, we also understand that for the competitors, it's a big deal too. It's a ton of work to get your car ready.
Absolutely.
It's a big expense to get it ready. in some cases, right? Some people have to spend more money than others to get their car ready. But the other thing is, it is not cheap to come do one of these events. It's just not, right? If you're looking for a $500, week-long vacation, this is not it, okay? And I say that not to be discouraging, but just to be realistic for people. We've had, a bunch of our Drag and Drive 101, podcasts, and we've talked about how much it costs to come and do one of these. The entry is not insignificant, but it's a great value for how much drag racing you get to do in the week and all of the other stuff you get with it. But you got to remember, you got to budget. Okay. You gotta really work at it, because you're talking about, fuel, you're talking about getting there, you're talking about getting back home, you're talking about food, you're talking about O'Reilly's when you blow your junk up and have to rebuild stuff, all those things. And the one thing that I would say to everybody that's getting ready to register, tomorrow and Saturday, is make sure that when you show up, you know what your commitment level is, right? So if you break something and you know that it's just going to take labor to fix it, you will get a lot of help. Like, there will be people begging you to climb under your car and help you out. But and know that if it's an easy part to get replaced and buy something for $20, $200, whatever the number is, that's okay too. But don't let getting caught up in the moment make you go, okay, hell yeah, I'm buying a $5,000 short block if that's not in your budget, because we want to see you every year, right? We don't want this to be a one and done thing, right? And so that's an important deal. You really do need to set your goals, set your priorities, make sure you know where you're at for the entire week. And I get my biggest thing, because again, we got registration going, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes about what that process is going to be like. But one big thing on registration is, if you get into this event, which we all hope you do, in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever, if you go, there is no way I can come, right? I have blown my junk up. I can't get parts, whatever it may be. Okay. If you're not going to race, then please let us know. Let Matt know, let June know through the registration link. They will put you and move you over into being a road weeker if you just want to bring a streetcar and cruise. But there are people that will be on the waiting list, and those people will love you forever if you actually go, you know what? I can't make this thing. I'm out. Let somebody else get in off the waiting list. Like, that's Absolutely. A big deal.
It
and
is.
I've gotten in on the waiting list before into drag week. I know that Adam has. I know Matt. We've all lived through that. So please make sure you pay attention to that one for sure.
And just real quick, Matt, GJ Jacober asks where June is and says, "You ugly."
Of course
he's right. I mean, he's kind of a dick, but he's right. I mean,
well, what can I say?
But it is what it is.
With that, what we were saying, it's a big expense. I mean, just getting the traveler, especially with so many people coming from so far away, that expense is there. But what we can tell you is we will do everything we can to help you get there, and that's to get through it. We have, we're bringing it back from last year. We have Juggernaut Fabrication and Michael and his whole family with the fab truck there to fab parts for you if you break something or welded or whatever, which is a huge help. We got Bobby with the lift. He'll be there. We have the mini. It's broke, but I'm going to get another one before then. We'll get another mini. And then we try to, a lot of the time we end up, one of my guys pulls an empty trailer too, if we need to get you guys home, if there's no other possibility. Like, those are things that we try to do for everybody. We do everything we can to make sure that this is the most possible way to get you to where you need to go and to finish this thing. That's what's important to us. Like, we understand that this is your vacation. We understand how much time and energy you've put into it, because we've all been there. Every one of us that are involved in this event have had cars in these kind of events. So we know exactly what you're going through, and we want to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure that you get there. And, we do everything we can as far as always trying to turn this back and put as much as your money that you spend in this back into this event to help you guys get to where you need to go and do what you need to do. And unfortunately, just know that if you do fall off, if you say, I can't make it, you're forfeiting that money does not get returned. We have no return policy on that. And the biggest reason for that is what you guys pay in is basically what runs this race. That's how we do this.
Yep. And I mean, going back a little bit to kind of protecting the racers and doing what we can to help the racers and going through all that process. You know, a lot of people are kind of hemming and hawing on that. Like, man, you know, it takes a little bit away from it and whatnot. But I told Matt long ago when we first were talking about doing drive days, I said, you know what, Matt, you're going to do drive days, and you know what we're going to get at the end of the thing is a lot less steaming piles of shit at the end of the week. And you know what?
Right.
It works. It works. It really does. You give guys a little bit of more time to work on their stuff, to keep their stuff kind of rolling, and we finish with more cars per capita, I think, than any other event. And that's the idea here, guys. We're not here to, you know, wear your stuff out and waste your crap and turn it into a big steaming pile of shit. What we want to do is at the end of the week, everyone's standing there together going, holy crap, that was super awesome. We had a really, really good time. We had some problems, but we had the hoist. We had the juggernaut guy. We had the mini. We had everything we had to possibly get us through the end of the thing. And you know what? The weird, like, one-off radiator we had, we just couldn't make it out. And it is what it is. We had every piece that we had to try to bring this thing all the way to the end.
And we have, you know, we have support trailers, we have Motion, and we have Central Speed and Supply. Those guys are there to help you guys with your parts and stuff too. So that's a great part of what we do. And the other thing is if you look at the difference between what we do is you guys are driving during the day and you're racing at night. And that was a big deal for me to do because here's the thing. When you race all day and you drive at night, you're amped up during the day while you're racing, but then you lose all your steam at night and you're out there and it gets kind of dangerous. And plus on top of that, there's no places open for you to get parts and stuff. So what our motto is on this, there's 3 reasons that we do that. One, if you're driving during the day, you may be tired when you get to the track, but you're going to be amped up when you go into racing in the evening. So there's a whole different story there as far as how that atmosphere is. 2, you can get parts during the day while you're driving. You have time to get there, you know, and so forth. And then on top of that, you know, the other part of that is it allows us to let the spectators get there after work, because obviously we're doing this during the week, which it's always way more fun as far as I'm concerned to run in front of spectators. Plus, obviously, it helps the event as far as financially goes because the spectators are there to help us, you know, cover those costs. So.
Sorry, we're reading through comments here.
I was going to say, I'm looking at all that. There's a ton of people commenting. We really appreciate that. Everybody, please keep commenting.
We'll get to questions. Leave questions in there. We'll get to those. Matt's on his phone, so he can't actually see those happening at the moment. So he's looking at us like,
yeah. But Adam and I are, and we're paying attention. So we're going to cover several of these things. We have questions people are asking about the event in particular. Before we get into that, because we're going to do a big. There'll be a lot of Q&A during this. Okay, as we get further on in. But I think what we're going to talk about right now is going to be the registration process. So, so Matt, explain to everybody what the difference is between tomorrow's registration and Saturday.
So tomorrow is basically your veteran status sign up. So what we do is basically what happens is if you ran last year, we send an email out to those people. Okay, so that's basically everybody that ran gets an email, and you're thinking, well, hell, how's that going to work? I'm not ever going to get signed up. So I'm going to explain to you why that is and then how this works. COVID kind of screwed us up with this situation because 1, we ended up accidentally overselling because the computer didn't shut it off. 2, everybody was off of work. They were trying to get their cars together. There was no racing going on. So there was no carnage, no breakage, no fallout, whatever. Everybody was ready to do something besides be at home. So we had a full deal. We never had anybody come off the waiting list, and we had very little signups. It has since corrected itself, which it always has, and that's what we do with the veterans. The reason we have the veteran sign up is we want to try to keep the culture of our event, okay? And that also gives those guys a home for the following year to be able to put more money in their car, make their car faster, and feel like they've got a place to be able to do that, and encourages them to do that. However, what you see is, as you only usually see, I wouldn't even say it's maybe half of the people from the year before sign back up. Maybe it's a little bit more than half, and then you'll see about
around that.
Yeah, you'll see about probably in a general situation, maybe not this year because there are so many events going on, but you'll generally see probably around a 70 to 80 more spots open up for new people to sign up. Well, don't get discouraged by that because That's the following day, it opens up to the public. As soon as that's done, if you can't get in immediately, you need to sign up for the waiting list, because between the time that we sign up to the day of racing, we lose about 20%. And that's across the board with most drag and drive events. You're going to lose 20% of the people that signed up. It's just because you think that your car is going to be done. There's no way you got it done in time. You were optimistic that didn't happen. You had family events happen. Your car blew up, whatever, a day before you got
Stuff
there.
happens.
It happens. So we generally will see that we go through about 80 or 90 of the people on the waiting list between the time that, you sign up to the day of. And we take that from the time that, as soon as people start telling us that they're falling off, wherever you're on that waiting list, that's how we go down the list all the way up to the day of. And then obviously, we're at the track, and some people may not have showed up. We obviously are not going to call you because there's so much going on off that waiting list. So that's kind of where the waiting list ends. But don't get discouraged. Just stay the course, do those things, those steps the way that they are. And, most likely you're going to get that call. And you may not like it that you didn't get in this time, but I can tell you, when you do get in and you've got that spot for next year, you'll appreciate what we're doing. And you'll also understand once you come to the event, how that works. And then if you don't get in, sign up for Road Week. Road Week is a great thing for everybody. It's for families. It's for the RV. It's for, say, the guy that maybe doesn't want to go down the strip. It's for the hot rodder or whatnot. And that's $250 for 4 people, up to 4 shirts. And you get all the entry that everybody else does. You get to do everything that everybody does, except for necessarily compete. And we've even been able to, in the last year, is get
you a couple of passes.
Get you a couple passes down the track as a Road Weeker.
Totally. And that I can't really push on that any further. If you just show up and you're not on the wait list, dude, your odds of getting in are low. You got to know that. You've got to be on the wait list, period. Get signed up to Road Week. Get on the wait list, get on Road Week.
Yeah.
All you need to do is pay the difference
on the wait
between...
list and register for Road Week.
Yes.
That is one thing that people have asked. You get on the wait list. That's just, you're on the list. Sign up for Road Week. If you then get to go as a competitor off of the wait list, all you have to do is pay the difference between your Road Week and that, and you're in. Like, it's no big deal. So sign up, and then for sure.
And then you've already got your time off. You've already got your hotel set up. You're ready to go. Like, the only difference is now you get to compete. Now you get to be in for the money. And that's, if you don't get that call, no big deal, dude. Road Week. It is super duper cool. Everyone that's Road Weeked, literally everyone that's Road Weeked, have come to me after and said, I had at least as much fun doing this as I did driving my car. In fact, a lot of people have more fun because you don't have any time hacks. You have nothing to do. You get to the racetrack and you can go, rub elbows with people. You can go talk with Matt. You can go do whatever you want to do, and you can get your plan set up for when you're ready to go racing. But Road Week, a lot of people are like, oh, pish posh Road Week. No, dude, 4,000 people sign up for Power Tour. This is cooler than Power Tour. Guaranteed.
Oh, way. Yeah, and again, because Matt is who he is, we do everything, possible to get you guys going down the racetrack, and so even last year, every Road Weeker that wanted to got to go down the racetrack every single day. And the truth of the matter is, you might be a Road Weeker and you might be saying, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to go down the racetrack. Like, only a half dozen or a dozen of them did, every day. It wasn't, but everybody that wanted to got to do it. And it was awesome. Right. I mean, you still get to be
even Matt took the road toad.
The time slip, the whole deal.
Yeah, Matt took the road toad down the track.
Yeah, that's
which is the Rocky Mountain Race Week official, semi-trailer truck tractor thing. But no, for real, if you don't get in, it's not the end of the world. Get yourself signed up to the wait list and get yourself signed up to Road Week. And then if you get your number pulled, and like Matt said, 20% is about right. 20% of people that sign up aren't going to be able to make it for one reason or another. That wait list happens fast, man. And especially that last month, keep working on your stuff. Get your crap ready. And especially if you're a Road Week guy, we had a couple of 11-second and 10-second Road Week cars last year. Super duper cool. And those guys said, I had as much fun as I would have racing the event in race week. No problem. Easy. and I'll be back next year no matter what.
And you're not, it's not that you're not involved. Like, we have a spirit. Like, if you want to be crazy and do something for the spirit of it, you win money, you win a trophy for that. Whoever has the coolest hot rod, if there's a voting deal for whoever has the coolest hot rod on Road Week. So we involve you in that. The other thing is that we do that's, that involves everybody. We didn't get to do it in 2.0, but we did it on 1.0 last year, and we're going to be able to do 1 and 2.0 is the reaction chair. So what we did is we took the co-pilots, and every day the co-pilots were allowed to compete, and somebody won every day of that. They got a little bit of money every day for competing and winning that, and then they went to the finals at the end. In the end, that they got a big payout for that. So we tried to do everything.
Amanda Martin won that deal, dude,
Yeah.
and it was 100-degree heat, and she was riding shotgun with her husband in his wicked rowdy radial car, and we'll see him this year as well. But same deal. There's a video running around out there of her winning that reaction time deal.
Oh, it was awesome.
She's crying.
Yeah.
She's having a blast. I mean, that's as much fun. And actually, I think she made more money than her husband did winning Rowdy Radial.
She did.
On the reaction time chairs, which is right.
That's awesome.
How cool is that, dude? How cool is that? So everyone's involved. And again, the June event especially, kids, man, bring your kids. Your kids are they're not in school, and there's a reason for that. There's an absolute reason for that. And Matt set that up for that because Matt and June have kids. They couldn't afford to put their kids in, childcare for a week while they went out and gallivanted around the country. They bring their kids with them.
They got home,
and we want you to bring your kids with you.
Yeah.
And we put them to work. We put our kids to work. We wanted them to teach them the value of what we do. And that's kind of where, we're coming into this with juniors. We have the junior street cars. I want to explain to you guys how that works. So 13 to 16 years old, 8th mile, no faster than a 9-second pass can be turned in. They have to go get their junior license. They don't need to sign up the same time everybody else does. So until we get to the point where we can't handle it or it's not manageable, we have too many kids, we'll have to figure that out when that time comes. But if you're getting your kid involved, after registration, you send us a message, me, June, or the RMRW page, or Adam, or whatever you may want to do, and
we'll figure it out. We'll get it to whoever needs it.
That's where we have you guys sign up. You'll pay your fees and stuff that way. They're not having to be in the middle of the rat race because it's still a pilot program. We think it's very important for the kids to be involved. For me, that's a huge deal, to have the kids involved. We have to continue to keep these generations of kids interested in this, and that's what's really great about. I feel like our event is we have a lot of younger people. There's no stigma. There's no attitudes of newbies coming in or whatever. We want you guys there. We think it's very important that as this grows, we continue to keep this sport moving. And, with all the stuff that's going on, with all the new stuff, whatever, I think that it could change the culture of drag racing. I've said for a long time that I feel like this is a movement. We're obviously seeing that that's the case at this point. So, do everything you can to get your family involved. We've had wives that have never been to a drag race ever, and they've started coming in with their husbands, and they're building their own cars. They can't believe, how well they are accepted and how this turns into such a family event. And it's just amazing to see how this has changed people's idea of drag racing.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And one of the things that I think is so good for everybody to remember when you're doing this is that I've been doing drag and drive events since the very first. Okay. So literally I'm one of at this point, 10 people in the country that are still doing drag and drive events, and we're at the very first drag week. So, the thing about it is that you see, and this happens every single year at every event, there are people that at the end of the week say, oh my God, this changed my life. I didn't know I was capable of this. I didn't know you could have this much fun, whatever it may be, right? Everybody always has things, but the ones that always have touched me the most are the people that have learned what they are capable of, right? They have thrashed like they didn't know was possible, and sometimes it's because they've realized it in themselves. And other times it's because dicks like me and Adam are like, you can't quit. I'm not going to let you quit. I'm in. Let's help. Right.
Matt's done that before.
Of course.
To Carrie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carrie with the old, she was like, this thing's eating oil, blah, 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 blah. And Matt said, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Go get your
Yeah,
car.
get it done.
Yeah.
And make some passes.
If I see you in the parking lot and your stuff's tore apart, you can pretty much bet that I'm going to come talk to you and see what we need to do to push you. I mean, I've had guys that wanted to quit and they've continued on by those talks that we've had. And
yes.
I think that's exactly it. There's a lot of times guys are going to come in and say, listen, if something big happens, this or that, I'm just going to be done. And once they get in it and they're in the middle of it, in the thick of it, and they see what everybody's doing and how everybody's pushing, and they're pushing them, and not in the negative way of peer pressure, but they're pushing them. They start realizing that they want to try hard to get that done and make it to that other end. And the things that we've seen done is amazing,
A little bit of negative. I go a little negative.
Well, you gotta give everybody a little ration. Yeah.
But a little bit. But no, for real, man. And that's that goes to everyone, man. All of the sponsors. Every sponsor that's there that has a trailer there has stuff in the trailer that they can help you move forward. Central Speed Supply, Motion Raceworks, Juggernaut, the portable car hoist, all of those do. I mean, Bang Shift. If you go to Chad on the scaffolding and you say, Chad, I need an alternator for my blah, 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 he's going to text me and say, dude, announce that we need an alternator for blah, 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 blah. And we're going to get that dude moving forward, whatever it takes.
And it's even me. I look, before we go out every year, I go look through my garage and I find things and I put in the trailer, like plug wires and belts. I've got a freaking whole bunch of belts and a coil and this and that. Like I put
You've got like
in my trailer.
Crowler. You've got like a bunch of Crowler rocker arms in the trailer right now. You've got fuel pumps.
I've even bought rocker arms, used Big Chief rocker arms off the internet, and I have a box of them in my trailer just in case somebody needs them. Like that's where we're at with this. Like we try to push you guys to that maximum. And one thing I can tell you that, and why we're talking about this, is we have some very good sponsors that push products. Their products are as far as helping you guys, and they're doing R&D for this stuff. So when you see one of our sponsors on our pages, if you need to buy a part, please, I can't ask you enough, and you guys do a great job of it, but make sure you go to those guys first, because they're the ones that help make this happen.
Just check with them. I mean, they might have something sitting on the shelf that you need right now.
Yeah.
No kidding. I went to the machine shop and I said, hey, I need it. I'm starting to build a motor for the Cadillac. Ended up emailing Eric over at Male.
Yes.
And he said, hey, I just got engaged. If you haven't heard,
congratulations,
Stevie. Bing. They said, here's your first engagement gift. I'm going to give you a set of pistons, dude. I mean, that's Male, dude. If Male hadn't come on board with Rocky Mountain Race Week, Eric and Male never would have done something like that for me. And that's super duper cool, man. Circle D is another one that's been super amazing. What's his name over at Circle D that's been helping us? I can't remember his name now. Crap. But, dude, tons of guys.
Yeah, and they're all there.
Motion.
And some of them are very quiet about, their sponsorship or whatnot, but we try to do everything we can to help those little sponsors. And the other part of that is if you are interested in being a sponsor, we do what we can to go the extra mile
there he
for
is.
you.
Dan Palmieri said, my name is Dan.
Palmieri. Dan.
Sorry, Dan, my bad.
So I want to address one thing then, based on that. So, we're talking about sponsors and we have some good questions here. So folks are asking, can I still run decals from my local, sponsors or
absolutely
local shops? Absolutely. And what will happen is, and several people have mentioned this in the comments, but what is going to happen is that at registration, which we'll go over this process a little bit after we wrap up registration, but in, on Tech Day, you'll get a sheet of stickers, and that's every sponsor, and they're all small stickers. You can put them on your car however you want, on the back window, or some people do them side windows or whatever, but everybody has to run all of those stickers. But no, you can run whatever else you want, anybody you like. You can put Adam's face on one side of the car and mine on the other. It's totally okay.
Well, and kind of the same deal, dude. Anyone that's kind of helped you in your process may not be a Rocky Mountain Race Week sponsor, dude. We don't care. Fly that stuff proud. And honestly, I'm probably going to shout those guys out on the live stream and on the PA anyway. Because if you've got a big whatever it is, and they're not necessarily a Rocky Mountain Race Week sponsor, but they got you to where you're going.
They helped you get
dude
there. Yeah.
We're into that. We are super duper cool with that.
Yep.
You know, we would prefer, obviously we would love if you would talk to your people, to talk to Matt, to become a Race Week sponsor, but at the same time, we don't play favorites, man. Like, to get in the RMRWers page, I put in there your favorite aftermarket company. That's not like I want you to like Stroke Motion, dude. That's not the deal. I want to know who's sponsoring, who's helping you, who's moving your program forward. And, that may not be a Rocky Mountain Race Week sponsor or a Race Week sponsor or a Bang Shift sponsor, whatever. But whoever helps you with your process, dude, fly that stuff, man. Make it happen. And I'm like I said, I'm still going to give them a shout out. I'm going to tell them that you got that on the back window. And that's a super duper cool deal for you and for us, because honestly, they helped you get to us. We're happy that happened.
Yeah, it all takes everybody. And, a lot of the times too, we're still barely tipping the top of this, because I have conversation with the vendors as I buy parts for the cars and stuff like that. And and we get into conversations and I say, I'm with Race Week or whatever. Not that I'm expecting anything out of it, but it's crazy how those conversations can turn into us and end up having them as a sponsor for our event. And for me, it's very important. Some of our sponsors aren't even people who even give anything to, as far as like, a class or whatever for us. Sometimes it's because of what they're doing for you guys as participants. If we feel like there's a value there, if they're wanting to give something directly to you versus to us to finance it or whatever, we'll do that, because it's important for us to do that. We've had lots of times, like, Crower has given out some stuff, and there's a couple different other companies that have given stuff directly to you guys, and that's something that we'll take on and we'll put that on there. So it is no different them wanting to give it to you through us versus you come in with your stickers because they supported you to get there.
Well, and same deal, talking about Crower, dude, Lewis brings spare parts for your car in his trailer if you have Crower shit. So, I mean, like, you just tell him, hey, I bought a set of rockers from you and I have a set of lifters, and he'll throw in, a handful of rockers and a handful of lifters in his trailer ready to go to help you out, which is super duper cool, man. I mean,
okay, awesome. We're getting a bunch of questions about the actual event. So let's make sure we cover the registration portion. Is there anything else? So tomorrow is for veterans. That starts at what time, Matt?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer.
8 a.m.
It's 8 till noon Mountain Time.
Okay. And
there's no real big rush on
it. Is 1 hour earlier than Central, 1 hour later than Pacific,
correct,
2 hours earlier than Eastern. It's that somebody decided to add another stupid time zone in the middle. And
exactly. And for veteran guys, there's no chance that we can sell out. I mean, I guess there's a very, very minute chance that we can sell out if every veteran shows back up. But there's no huge rush for you to get in. So anytime 8 to noon, get in and get yourselves registered. If you get in by noon, you're set. You're good to go.
And then on Saturday, it again starts at 8 a.m. Is that right for the general public?
9 a.m. Saturday.
9 a.m. on Saturday for the general public. And again, if you do not get in, immediately get on the wait list. There will be instructions for that. And then if you're, I want you to think about this ahead of time tonight, is that if you don't get in, do you want to go on Road Week? And I would highly encourage it. And because if that is the case, know that you can sign up for Road Week anytime. So don't worry about that tomorrow. Or like if Saturday you don't get in, for Rocky Mountain Race Week, you don't have to sign up for Road Week like that nanosecond. Don't feel like the stress. You can,
and it doesn't even open till 10 o'clock anyway for Road Week. So you'll have an hour kind of chunk anyway.
Exactly.
But the wait list will be open the second it sells out.
Right.
So get on the wait list.
Yep.
And then
go and wait list ticket in your cart, and you can buy that. It's $0.
Right.
And then you're on that list. And then June has you in your order that you came in on the wait list.
Yep.
That's your best chance to get in if you don't get in on the initial registration.
And then later you can sign up for Road Week and no rush. So you're good to go on that. without worrying about, oh my God, I'm in a hurry.
Don't rush, but try to get it done as soon as you know. That way, it only helps us. It just the sooner we know that you guys are on there, that helps us to figure out shirt sale. How many shirts we got to order, all that good stuff. So
yep.
Well, and the same deal, guys. I mean, this may again, a lot of people are like, man, you're making $1 jillion on this. No. Matt, I promise, is not making $1 jillion on this.
No.
He does need to plan on all of his shirt sales and everything. So all of that comes from entries and road week entries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then he has a little bit extra that he has to sell along the route as we go. And ideally, he sells out of those the last day. And he's got a big pocket full of money. Everyone's got shirts. Life is good. But if you say you're coming, you don't come, all of a sudden he has 4 shirts. He needs to sell to the general population. So a lot of that does actually come into play. So please, if you plan on coming, do sign up. It'll help him kind of get his stuff squared up so he doesn't end up where he's, in the black or in the red, if you will.
Cody Sierra Green is asking, how do I get on the wait list? I zoned out. The way you get on the wait list is if you are trying to register and you and it goes, boom, sorry, you're too late, sold out. You can still click on a wait list entry. And the wait list entry costs $0 to get on the wait list, but it is in the system. You will click wait list, and that way you will fully register on the wait list, and that puts you in order so that our wait list is absolutely in the order in which people register. So if it says sold out, make sure you get on the wait list. That doesn't cost you anything. And then you can go over and sign up for Road Week as well. You can do both of them.
And honestly, that's the best way. Get on the wait list first, then sign up for Road Week as soon as it opens. And then you're there. You're going to be there no matter what. You're on a wait list. Right. You're going to be there. They have shirts set up for you. Everything is ready. If you do get picked to be a racer, you just pay the difference between Road Week and Race Week, and you pull into tech, and Matt sees you, and we check all your turn signals, etc.
And as far as tech goes, so we have changed that a little bit. So
hold on. Before we do that, I want to because I want to segment into that. So So we're going to make the assumption now that everybody that wanted to got in, right? Or you're on the wait, whatever, but you are ready to go. And fast forward to 2 months before Rocky Mountain Race Week, and whether you're going to be a road weeker or you're racing or you're still waiting on the wait list, and you're like, okay, I think I've got a plan. I think my junk's going to be ready. Then now go ahead, Matt. What happens as people lead up to when we get closer to the event?
So we started this last year, and it worked very well. So
it's so good.
This is how we've set it up. If you have done any other drag and drive in the last 6 months prior to our event, so that's going to be Sick Week. I think that's the only one that maybe Midwest and all they're after us, I think, too. So Sick Week's probably going to be your only one that you are going to be able to use that for. If you're a Sick Week contestant and you come and do Rocky Mountain Race Week, you basically go straight to Express. You don't have to send me nothing. You just go to Express Tech, which is basically the NHRA Tech. If that's not the case, and you have your car ready and you're ready to go, I will send out a deal saying, hey, send me a video. So each one of you will send me a video of your car with all of its lights working, your registration, your license. I don't do any of your NHRA stuff. If you want to show me your neutral safety switch just to go through that, if you want to show that your push button for your kill switch, shuts your car off so that you can kind of go through some of those motions to help yourself remember that whether that works or not, that's fine. But all of your road stuff, your horn, your turn signals, your headlights, your brake lights, your registration, your insurance, your license, you're going to send me all those things in a video. What that does is once you do that, I will send you a response saying you're good to go. That puts you in express lane, which takes you straight. When you get there, you go straight to the NHRA Tech. It's so awesome because it cuts everything down. It keeps us out of the sun all day long. It keeps the line moving really fast. It's a really awesome way to do it, and it worked really well last year.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you sat in tech lines for a few of these other ones, and I'm not going to name any of the other ones, but if you sat in these 8-hour tech lines and you show up to a race week or a Rocky Mountain Race Week event, it's nothing like that. The reason for that is that Matt and I and Chad have sat through 8-hour tech lines. And that's
stupid.
It sucks, man,
It's
and we know it sucks.
stupid, and
So-
there is no reason for it. I will be the ass and say it. If your event has all-day tech, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong, and I know
Right.
you're doing it wrong because it doesn't happen at any other drag race on the planet. So stop it. Stop doing it wrong. It's not that
Right.
hard.
It is
If
not
it
that
takes
hard.
that long to tech a car, you have 4,000 too many rules. Quit doing it that way. Sorry.
Kevin
My rant is
Ganstrom
over.
asked
We're fine
if your car has an NHRA cert sticker, will that sticker will that help out at tech? That will totally help out at tech. However, that NHRA tech we don't control. Matt doesn't control. Chad doesn't control. The host track actually is the track that will do your initial tech. So your NHRA sticker on your car will help that tech guy know that you have a chassis certified that's been certified by a dude with an NHRA, blazer and hat that has, a freaking sonic tester to test your tubing and whatnot. So that stuff will help for sure. Absolutely, 100%. However, you still need to go through a full, regular, everyday NHRA tech, and it's not that big of a deal, especially if you already have a sticker on your chassis. You know what this is like.
Yeah.
No big deal. Make sure your belts are good. Make sure you have a helmet that's in date. Those are the two big things, and steel valve stems, which is crazy. Somewhere in the Midwest, no one told anyone that you needed steel valve stems at $11.99. That's front and rear wheels.
Neutral safety switch, double spring on the carburetor, and with what you're asking is if you have an annual inspection from your local track, that will help you big time too. When you go to see our NHRA tech guys, when they see that, especially like if it's an NHRA, a known NHRA track, and you have that annual on there, they already know that you guys have been checked for the year and somebody scrutinally checked your car out. So that's going to help you out. But yeah, like he said, just make sure you're checking those little things that sometimes get overlooked, and the belts, and a big thing right now is the expired helmets. The helmets changed this last year, and you got to make sure that is not expired.
And it's not the end of the world, guys. We're not going to
NHRA rule book. You can get it online, guys. It's not
free.
rocket science.
It's free.
I know why. I can tell you why it's not rocket science, because there are a bunch of people dumber than you guys watching us who build race cars and drag race every single day. Okay, so you can do this. If you can read, you can follow the rule book. If your battery is still under the hood where it came from the factory, you don't need a battery cutoff switch. If you moved it somewhere else, then you do. Okay, I mean, that's easy. It's no big deal. If your car goes sufficiently quick as to require an NHRA cert, then it must have an NHRA cert for you to show up. That's how it works. Getting an NHRA chassis cert is super easy. Call anybody that has any real race cars around you or your local chassis shop, and you have tons of time to do that. Lots and lots of racetracks and chassis builders have chassis cert days where they bring a chassis cert guy in. You don't have to pay travel expenses or any of that junk. You pay $100, $150, $200, depending on where you are in the country.
Whatever it is.
They do the whole deal. Put your sticker on your car, everything. Go to a race. If you go to a race, lots of races have somebody there that will certify the chassis for you. It's super easy. Yeah, you want to do that for sure.
So everything you can do to set yourself up before you show up helps big time. That said, we've done in the past with a few folks, we can get you license stuff signed off. So if you do everything for your license minus your passes, you can show up and we can figure out a way to make you passes. That's not the end of the world. It's actually kind of a cool deal because you have to have people that hold the license that you are attempting to get sign off on your license. And it's kind of a cool deal if you have dudes like Matt Frost sign off on your license, or, who knows? Name a cool drag and drive type dude. But
let's talk about that a little bit. Like, if you don't understand the process for how you get an NHRA license, it depends on what,
how fast
ET you're going for. But generically speaking, you have to fill out paperwork. In some instances, you have to get a physical. You do not need a physical for a 990 license. But you do if you're going, advanced ET stuff. That's fine, right? You need a physical. All that stuff's easy. But all you have to do is have the paperwork, which you can fill out. Most drag strips have them on hand also, but you need to make a series of runs that are, a couple of partial runs and then full track passes. Well, the thing about it is, unless your car is some dialed in thing that already, runs a number every time you let go of the trans brake button, in which case, why don't you have a license, you idiot? Then you're going to try and make runs anyway to figure out why your car won't go down the racetrack because it's new like everybody else's. So you're going to make partial runs down the racetrack anyway. It's not a big deal. You can turn in those time slips too. When you get to making your full track pass and you make your 750 run or whatever to get your license, if that's the quickest pass and that's the one you want to turn in, that's okay. You can turn in license runs. They count. So it's totally okay. You do not need like a whole separate thing. But also, you have between now and June. Like, Go get in a buddy's car, even if yours is getting put together. Do the initial runs. Like, all that stuff's okay. I tell you this, and I get wound up about this stuff because every year we have people that show up, and I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say. We have people show up, and they're stressing about it.
They're panicked.
I'm not annoyed by it. It's great that people come and get licensed with us. It's that people are totally panicked and stressed about it. And there's no reason. It's not that big a deal. It's okay. We will help you as much as we can. You have lots of time too. So make preparations ahead of time and you can totally do this. Okay.
And dude, at the end of the game, no one's going to hem you up. No one's looking to, put your shit in the trailer and take it back home 2,000 miles away. Very worst case, you can run 10 flat. Okay?
Right.
No big deal. We'll find a place to put you in, and you're still going to have the time of your life. Promise. I promise you.
Hey, Callie Stewart is saying, says we have snow till June. Well, Callie,
they're in Canada and they have Mopars. So
I think Mayflower comes there too. So if you call their 1-877 number, they'll move you somewhere without snow all year.
Right. You can come south.
Sorry.
We will take you. I promise.
Don't feel bad for people that live in the snow because you don't have to.
Actually, Callie Stewart was following me last year during Rocky Mountain Race Week, I believe it was, and I did the couple of turns in the roundabout, and he has like an A-body Mopar, and we pulled up to our stop at the hot rod shop, and he goes, "Dude, this doesn't turn. It's a torsion bar Mopar. Why are you going around this freaking roundabout 3 or 4 times, man? You got a Cadillac
He's got
with
a good
18-inch
point there.
wheels. This doesn't turn, man."
Oh, that's awesome. So, okay. So you go through your tech deal, Matt. Now continue. So people have gone through tech virtually if they can ahead of time. Otherwise, they can do it when they show up at the racetrack.
Yes, they can. If their car wasn't ready or something changed, any of that kind of thing, you can do it right there at the track. You do not have to send it in virtually or video tech. So
right.
And then after that, you basically you do your tech. You go park your car. We've already put your numbers on your car. That's kind of the way that and your tech card. That way we know that you're through that part of it. You take your tech card. You go see Miss June and the girls at the Race Week trailer. And you give her that stuff, and then she gives you all of your stickers. You'll get a windshield banner to put on the car, and then there'll be a sticker that's your sponsor for your class that'll go next to it. And then you put all the rest of the stickers on your car, and you basically wait for the driver's meeting. Now, something that you need to know is you don't necessarily have to. You can pick your class at registration. You don't have to keep that class. Say your car ran faster or it ran slower, or you just decided you want to do a different class. Up until the point of you turning in your first time ticket, you can change your class. The only thing is you'll have to change your sticker on your windshield to match the class that you're in. Super simple, super easy. If you've never been down the track, let us know. There's always somebody that can help you with that part of it too. And then, so that's kind of how that process goes. And then we'll have a driver's meeting after you get all your stickers, get all your registration and stuff like that, hang out with your buddies. And then we usually generally around 2:30, we do our driver's meeting, and 3:00, we turn the track on.
And I have a question coming from Kevin Ganstrom, and he's saying, so slower than 10.0 don't sign up. I believe no, it's slower than 10.0 doesn't require any kind of NHRA certification or license. But we absolutely want you to sign up for the event. No question.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, we have indexes down to 14.0, and
Yeah.
we had dudes like Pat Cook on the Grom.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing runs 22 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
And it was maybe one of the most fun things we've ever seen running down the track, to be 100% honest. So bring your car.
We have Ken. Ken's got the little yellow Impala.
Yeah.
I love him. The thing's it's slow too. The only thing I think it's gone into maybe he's gotten it into the 19s. I think.
I think he put it in the 19s on
it's a
race week.
2-barrel 283 Power Glide car. Yeah.
64 Power Glide Impala, dude.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
That
and
car
we love
is
it.
super cool.
We love it. We love it. I think we had a lot of pressure at one point in time to only be 10 second and faster, and I would not do it. We don't like that. We got guys, RM Lloyd and his little international pickup, and Ken and all these guys that, their stuff may be slower, but they're just as much important to this event as the fastest guy. And I think that's all relative to everybody. Everybody can relate to something when you come to our event, and we want you there. We celebrate you, whether you're a 20-second car and you got into the 19s, or you're a 6-second car that got in the 5s or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Like, we celebrate all of it. We think it's all great. We're happy for every one of you guys that make a personal bet.
And to jump on that too, we're the only event, I believe, as far as I know, that'll allow a hard tire. You have to have a 200 treadwear or lower, or a purpose-built drag tire to run in the groove, but we'll allow you to run out of the groove, and we'll kind of walk you through that in the driver's meeting and everything. But we don't require you to go out and buy $1,000 worth of tires to come and race with us. My Cadillac has been in it for 4 years on totally hard tires. It runs in the 14.0 kind of range, out of the groove, leaving it idle, not tearing the track up and stuff like that. But the idea here is not to make it you have to have a 7-second car to compete in this. Everyone gets to come. Everyone gets to have a good time. And honestly, the guys with the 20-second cars have as much fun as the guys with the 7-second cars. In fact, probably a little more, because they're not thrashing on their bull crap all time. A quick question from Mark Barnes. If a limo, and Mark had the limo that he had Trump riding in the back seat. You guys remember that in 1320? Piled up their entire crew in that thing, and he made like a 12-second pass with it. If you're signed up for the 12.0 class and the boost control fails and it goes 950, are you going to get in trouble? No. You just can't turn in that slip. Right. Not a big deal. Not the end of the world. You might get a little bit of a tongue lashing from the crew at the track, but Rocky Mountain Race Week dudes aren't going to give you any shit. If your car's only good to go 1150, you can't turn in a slip faster than 1150. That's it. But if you go,
you just better hope
10 flat.
You better hope that the track isn't closing 2 seconds after you make that pass and you can't turn that in. So you're out of here. You're going to take a 20 at that point. So.
Yeah, and Mark Barnes also is talking about bringing a junior street racer, and his daughter has a new S10, by the way.
Nice.
And Danny asked about Wicked Chick Awards and whether they will be back. And yes, the Wicked Chick Awards will be at every Rocky Mountain Race Week event forever. So don't worry, that is happening every single time. On Race Week this last year, the little Lipinski, she raised, I don't even remember how much it was, $3,000 or some damn thing in during the week, taking donations, plus our sponsor money we had. And of course I built a trophy and all of those things, or in this case, trophies. We did a bunch of them this time. But yes, Wicked Chick Awards are happening. They are a special part of this event and will continue to be. So
and then kind of jumping on that as well, I'll continue with the Rookie of the Year and the Young Gun.
Yep.
Rookie is this is your very first drag and drive type event. So not if you competed on Drag Week last year and you come to this event, you're not a rookie anymore. Also not including, at least at the moment, Young Gun or the junior street racers. They kind of have their own thing kind of going.
Right.
So rookies are rookies. It's your first time competing in your own. And then young guns are 21 and under. When we finish the event, if you're 21 or under, then we have another kind of a stash of money for that deal too. So That's one I put together on my own. I throw in a little bit of my own money, and then I beg, borrow, and steal money through the week. And we have a big pot of money at the end of the week for those folks too.
One question Braden Dillinger has up here is, so this is technically going to be Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0 and 2.0 this year, correct? No. They are two separate events. They are just happening in the same geographic location this year. So normally Rocky Mountain Race Week, which is our June event, and Race Week, which has been traditionally our September event, are two completely separate events that are both put on by Matt. They are, as I said, completely separate, and normally they are geographically separate. One's in Colorado and Nebraska and such, and Kansas, and the other one has been here in the Texas area or what have you.
Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma. So that is not the case this year. This year, there was a vote put into or put to the people because of some of the difficulties with racetracks and what have you this year to move what you are calling 2.0, which is actually Race Week. And it was decided people wanted to go in the Rocky Mountains again, and it's beautiful. So on Rocky Mountain Race Week, which is the one which signups start, tomorrow, that event has drive days. Okay. Race Week, which is coming up in October, right? October?
Yes. September, early October.
Yes.
September 30.
Yes. That last weekend or last week of September, early October, that event has no drive days.
No, it does. It does have drive days.
It does this year.
Oh, it does?
But
I thought we didn't have a drive day.
We don't normally this year, but it will this year. But here is the kicker. What changes with that is normally you have a drive day between the last day of your average and the shootout. This year, you will not have the drive day between. So you're going to go straight from your average to the shootout. So they're going to have to hustle a little bit harder to get back there and get their cars ready and turned around for the shootout. So that's what changes.
Okay, gotcha. That's where I was screwed up on. So again, one of them is in June. That's the one you're signing up for tomorrow and Saturday. And the other one is going to be end of September, early October. And signups for that one are when?
Not yet. We don't know yet.
We have not put that out yet. We want to get through this so it gets confusing. Gotcha. So we're just going to do one thing at a time here.
Yes.
And then real quick, Kevin Guthrie wants an old fart award. And Royce Payton says that he won.
He won? He won the old fart award? Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He already won it.
Brad Stapp says rookies can be old co-pilots, and that is true. So
yeah, and Brad Stapp is my OG co-pilot from Drag Week 14, and he rode with me until I got a girl that would ride with me, and I made him build his own car, truck. And now he's brought his whole family in. He's brought a couple of his brothers along with this deal and brought them into this whole deal. Brad is the man. But yes, so co-pilots, rookie is your first time competing, your first time in an event. So co-pilots or junior street people or whatever, your first time actually competing on your own, you're a rookie.
Okay, so let's see. Randy Miller, we're not talking about 2.0 or Race Week right now. Like that's later. We'll go over that stuff later as far as what the schedule is. What was this? Jake Hardy. No, we're not coming to Texas or Oklahoma this year on Race Week. I am, a bunch of you already know this. I am working on doing my own event late in the year as well here in Texas. So, but I am not announcing that until we're sure on sponsorship. So,
and we will be back next year as long as everything irons out. We just wanted to let basically tracks have changed hands. It's really hard to plan stuff and know what's going on, when that stuff's going on. That's why we decided to kind of give it a break. We will be coming back. It's just the logistics of trying to put something like this together is really hard. Like we had a track actually fall out on us last year and we pulled it together. It wasn't a big deal, but if our start and stop track has a problem or something to that effect, it could be catastrophic for the event. So the reason that we decided to kind of give this a break was, one, a lot of the 2.0 people are guys that try to get into 1.0 and usually can't. So they want to come and see what this is all about. And two, just to kind of let everything, all the dust settle over there. There's nothing wrong with everything there. We love those tracks. We just wanted to make sure that everything's going to run smooth before we head back that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, question from Jeannie Hammond. Jeannie, we're not going to go into all the specifics on helmets. It's super easy. Just look in the NHRA book. It will tell you what you need, but there is a Snell rating, which is put as it is written as SA and then a number, and the number is the year. The number is not when it expires, it's when it starts.
When it was certified, right?
Correct. So you just got to look in the book and it'll tell you what you're going to have. It's the same for everybody. It doesn't matter what you're running. Motorcycle helmets are not allowed. Don't be the idiot that shows up in a dirt bike helmet. If you have enough money to go do everything else, you have enough money to go buy a Race Quip or a G-Force or one of the other low cost but high quality helmets.
Yep.
Because if you crash your junk and you have a motorcycle helmet on, you're gonna hurt yourself bad. And
that's actually Janae, and Caleb is her
Janae.
son.
I know, I always call her Jeannie.
And he said Jean. Yeah. Oh, Jean.
No, I always call her Jeannie. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Janae. But anyway, so a lot of the tech type stuff, it's NHRA rules, guys. Go look at the NHRA rule book. You can download that for free on NHRA.com. There's a PDF link. You can dig through all that stuff. I know it's kind of tough to kind of like read through a lot of that stuff, especially if you come from like a lot of these tracks in the Midwest do like no tech. And you just kind of like, hey, whatever, guys, it is what it is. You're not going to get that here. You do need to actually adhere to those NHRA rules, and it's not that tough. If you do have questions, ask them in the Rocky Mountain Race Week page, ask them in the RMRWers page, send Matt a message, call Matt.
Don't send me a message on NHRA stuff because I can't.
You'll figure it out. You'll probably
send
send me a message and say, hey, what the hell?
Right. Yeah, right. But the thing is with that is there's so many different variables for each of your guys' cars. There's no way possible that I can keep track with that stuff, and I won't because I don't feel like I don't want that liability on me. So no, I mean, you can ask your general track. You can ask in the RMRW class because there's going to be somebody that matches. Now, if you've got a 6-second car and you've got a question, ask me because I know it because I have that stuff. But when you start talking about some of the other stuff, I have no idea. I don't want to steer you the wrong direction as far as that
goes. But ask questions.
Ask
what you can get, and we can get you in touch with people that know that crap 100%.
Right. Yes. And when Matt says, he doesn't know because it depends on the car, he's talking about tech stuff on the car itself.
Yes.
But helmet requirements are the same regardless of what you're driving.
Yes.
All of those things, jacket, pants, etc., does change a little bit depending on what you're driving. I can tell you that I'm a big safety stickler. If you have questions and you can't find them out by looking up your NHRA rule book, then hit me up. But the truth of the matter is that if you are, if you're racing, like just get the baddest stuff you can. And again, support sponsors, right? So, if you're a woman looking for a fire suit, go to Race Chick because there's great fire suits that are actually built for women and they're awesome. So, and tell them that I sent you. So, we got way off track here. Yes.
Getting back to registration, because I know this is kind of the big deal. So veteran registration happens tomorrow. Emails have been sent. So if you are a veteran, your email should be in your email. A lot of people had those in their spam for some reason, because I think June sends out, questionable emails here and there, and it got into someone's, spam folders or whatever. So make sure you check your spam. If you are a veteran, and that means that you competed in last year's Rocky Mountain Race Week, not the 2.0 event, but the 1.0 event, you should have that sign up email right now. The link is not open until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Yes. And that is Mountain Time.
Yep, exactly. And then so Saturday is regular registration. So we have 250 spots, right? Is that true, Matt?
No, 280.
280 spots. So whatever we have from our veteran, and we'll put however many we get that first day on the Rocky Mountain Race Week page and the RMRWers page, so you'll have an idea of how many spots we have open. Then that opens on Saturday, 9 a.m. Whatever amount of those spots is. So 280 minus whatever, say we had 140. So we have 140 open. 140 people have a spot or have a shot at those spots starting at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
And the reason, and you'll always be like, well, why is there 300 cars? Because we only got 280 spots that are sold. What that is we hold some back. I mean, we have to hold a little bit back for the juniors. That we don't really account for that right now. But what that is our sponsors, any of our class sponsors actually gets a spot with their sponsorship. So, you can kind of do the math there, and that's why we end up with 300 cars or a little bit right around that area, is because we hold those back for those sponsors.
Totally. And then that's it, guys. 9 a.m. Whatever that number is, 180, 160, 140, whatever spots that is. As soon as those sell out, we're done. Get on the wait list. Get on the road week kind of deal, and we're ready to go at that point. If you've got a spot,
for 2.0. Prepare for
right.
2.0. If you can't get in any of that stuff, and obviously Sick Week is already sold out for this year. I think the circuit's already sold out. So something that, is right in your guys' area for a lot of you guys is the King of the Open Road is going to have several deals this year. Get with those. I 100% are behind them. And Jared, that's a great deal for you guys to get your feet wet if you've never done this before. I can't say for the other events because I don't know those guys as well, but I can tell you that, if you can't get in on something like this and you can get into one of those smaller events, I encourage you to do that. And just continue to keep trying to get in on our event.
Totally. And with the race week event being the same tracks as the Rocky Mountain Race Week, it'll definitely give you another shot for sure. We're going to be in the same kind of area. We're going to do the same sort of deal. But guys, it's going to be fall. It's a whole different deal. It's not going to be a jillion degrees. The leaves are going to be changing. If you haven't been in Colorado in the fall, especially with your hot rod, you have no idea. It's going to be a whole different thing. So keep your ears peeled for when that happens.
I'm putting in the chat here the helmet requirement. If you just generically speaking, if you have an SA 2015 or an SA 2020, then your helmet is good for this year. So
very nice.
There you go. All right, I'm looking through.
There's a lot of tech questions, guys. Honestly, we don't run any of the tech. To be 100% honest, we run the street style of the tech, and that's what Matt's going to do. It's going to be checking your turn signals, your horn, your lights.
Tech, not NHRA tech.
Exactly, and he has a little bit of a sway on that kind of stuff, but it's going to be, hey, you don't have a right turn signal, get your crap fixed before you move to the NHRA tech. Once you get past your streetcar tech, we have nothing. We can't say anything about it. We don't do anything about it. We're totally out of the loop. That's 100% the track and NHRA. So yes, if your car will pass NHRA tech at your local track for your current speed, you're going to be okay. And again, we're not going to run you over the coals for it. It's, it is what it is. And again, a lot of Midwest guys don't even get tech. The real big basic things are going to be, if you've moved your battery, you need to have a shutoff switch in the back of the car, and it has to shut the car off while it's running. So you've got to have either the alternator feeding through it or a two-way type switch. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is going to be expired belts. That just happens. The belts expire in 2 years. That shit goes out fast.
Yeah,
and then just little nitpicky type stuff, steel valve stems, things like that. But none of those tracks are going to hold you up.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. So we're just going to say that next month, okay, because it's already the middle of the month. In February, we are going to announce our first 2023 Drag and Drive 101 Tech show.
Well, and what we'll do is I'll talk to Ron Connor, which is our guy that does our lanes, and he is an NHRA official.
He's awesome.
And we'll see if Ron can get on here with us, and then that way Ron can answer those questions.
We will go over all those things. I will tell you that there are a bunch of other tips and tricks that I will give you. Again, I've been doing this longer than anybody else. Somebody on here said, hey, can I use a bicycle horn? And yes, you can. And,
Boat horn.
and 100, that's a boat horn, but yes, you can use the bulb one. You can, whatever
you
it
want.
don't matter. Yes. If it's a horn, I don't care if you got a goose riding shotgun with you and stuff your finger up its ass every time and it honks. Whatever you got to do, that'll work. Okay. Whatever you got to do, whatever makes you feel good. But I will tell you that there are a lot of tips and tricks that we can give you that will make you have a much more enjoyable time, because you're going to worry about things like the horn. And like, let me explain just the quickie for the horn. My Camaro, which we ran on, Rocky Mountain Race Week a few years ago, has not had a horn since it was 5 years old and became a race car. I took a horn off of Daphne's wagon, bolted it to the factory location on the core support, ran a wire up to my line lock, okay, which has a plug in it. And then I unplugged it and plugged it into the horn wire and used my line lock button as my horn button when we were in street mode. So we went into race mode by connecting the line lock. And that's what we did. And it worked perfect and it was easy. And I don't care what kind of car you have. I can install a horn on it that works, whether it's electrical or otherwise, in 5 minutes or less without question. So those are not the things that you need to stress about, because those are 5-minute quickie deals. You need to make sure your junk is reliable and has all the other stuff ready. That's it.
Yeah.
So
and
Hardy, you can find out when a trans blanket is required in the NHRA rule book. Seriously, you guys are going to have to look at that stuff.
Or just go to RMRW. Just go to the page, the RMRW page, ask your questions. Somebody's going to get back to you and tell you what you need to know.
Totally.
And there's plenty of people that have had to do this.
And honestly, I'm probably just going to link you to the NHRA rulebook.
Yeah.
And it's going to say, here, you go find it. Easy.
It's online and it's free. In fact, hold on. I'll get it and I'll put a link.
Brad Stapp just linked it.
Did he? Okay.
So, there you go.
Yes.
It's free. You can download the PDF. You can do a Control F to do a find.
Yeah. And
you can find every place in there where it asks you about a transmission blanket.
Yep.
Easy.
Nope.
It's all good. But no, for real. Ask your questions on the RMRW's page. We will find you an answer within, we think this is pretty close. At least get you some guidance.
100%.
Right, exactly. And then
because we want you to come and have a good time. And so we're going to make sure that we do everything possible to make that happen.
And like Central Speed Supply is going to have stuff like a drive shaft loop. If you spaced out a drive shaft loop, and you can bolt that crap to the floor.
Right.
We're going to help you out, guys.
And in fact, again, those are like, trust me, tune in next month. We will make an announcement. We will do a tech show, because I am going to fill you guys in on some stuff that you can get, whether it's to make it or buy it, for things like drive shaft loops that are not for your car, but will bolt right in and will save you a ton of time and energy and not require you to drill holes in the floor and such. There's a ton of great stuff out there for cheap, or that you can look at and go, hey, I have a welder and a hacksaw. I can make that. So There's lots of stuff to be done, and you got lots of time. With that said, keep working and plugging away. An hour a day will get you on Rocky Mountain Race Week.
Totally. Matt.
Yes.
Where's the Hulk? Are you going to have the Hulk at Rocky Mountain Race Week?
I don't know. I'm trying to make it for Sick Week right now. The motor's in the machine shop. Parts is a problem right now. We're trying to get it done for that, and we'll see where we're at. I'm not going to, obviously I don't think I'll be able to compete in Race Week. I just decided that that's not possible. As far as bringing it to do some exhibition stuff, that's a good possibility, or maybe the little Nova, June's little Nova will be done, and we'll bring that. I'm not sure yet.
That's a stick car. I don't know if you can hang with that, so she'll have to drive it, which is fine.
She'll probably have to drive it. Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
That car is going to be so badass, though.
And then just real quick to hit on that right before we leave, guys, the shootout. This is a Rocky Mountain Race Week and Race Week only deal. We're the only. This is exclusive. We're the only folks that actually race at a drag and drive. So the top 32 cars are going to be in a heads-up shootout. So that's fastest individual pass. So you could have a killer knock it out of the park one pass, and then you make it the rest of the week, but you have a terrible week, man. Have a terrible, terrible time. You make it to the shootout, and you can be in that quick 8 or that FAF 8 or quick 16 or whatever it is, and you can actually race for some money there at the end, which is going to be super duper awesome. Also, if you're not in that top 32, we bracket race you. So if you're, say, a 1350 car, you're never going to make it in the 13.0 index. You don't want to slow it down to 14.0. We're going to bracket race everybody else. So super duper cool. It gives everyone a chance to kind of, again, get yourself into some money, make yourself go some rounds. The thing's going to be super duper awesome. So Caleb Doran says he's coming for his 2 times bracket shootout win in Rocky Mountain Race Week. He's got that front wheel. He had that front wheel drive Pontiac. He's bringing an F body, I believe, now with a turbo LS.
No.
So he's going to come hard from he's up in Rapid City, South Dakota area with that deal. So guys, it's going to be super duper awesome. Exhibition again, Matt. He's going to be the guy right there for you to beat in that exhibition class. He ran 680 something at Pueblo. So and blew the Pro Charger up doing it. Oh, Caleb says that's a nitrous LS. Okay, whatever. But either way, exhibition. You blow your crap up the first day. You work on it. You bring it back the last day, and we're going to exhibition race you guys. We're going to have a rowdy radial shootout. Dude, it's awesome. It's super duper cool. Bring what you have a good time, and then we reset the whole deal the last day, and we go heads up racing. We go exhibition racing, and we go bracket racing there on the last day. It's super awesome.
Got a question on next month's tech podcast. Can we talk class rules as well? Yes, we will.
100%.
We will go over all those things, and we will, if you guys want to have them, then we will do more podcasts. Like we can do one every month. We could do one, whatever. It doesn't.
Whatever you ask us for, tell us what you want.
Yeah, because if you want us to do a monthly podcast and leading up to the event, we absolutely will do that. We want to make sure you guys are ready and you have the most fun you can. It's a great way to connect and hear what's going on. So if you guys are interested in that, you let us know when we announce the next one, and we'll keep doing it. But we will announce the date of the next one here in the next week or two, but it'll be middle of next month, let's say.
One thing too, before we kind of go, we didn't hit on the bikes. There is a change in the bike stuff. So bikes is kind of a new deal. And here's what happened. It's going to change up as far as you can have the fastest average for the week for the bikes.
Oh, right.
Or you can work on do both of these, or you can set your average on the first day and try to hit as close as that as you can for the week. So you have 2 opportunities to win that. You can either do both of them or just do one or the other. But that is something we changed. And if you're not familiar with the bike stuff, like I said, it's still a kind of a new deal. We usually have about 4, maybe 5 bikes show up. The rules on the bike stuff is you have to carry all your own stuff, just like any of your other racers do. You can have a co-pilot in another vehicle that can stop and help you because you're a single rider unless you have somebody with you. It must be on 2 wheels. You are allowed to have a sidecar or a trailer. But that's really all of our rules for that. But it's going to be kind of cool, like the Grom, especially as consistently as he can be. He's never going to be able to win the fastest, obviously, but maybe he can win the most consistent average.
The most consistent, yeah. And real quick, Carter Snell just asked, hotel list, when will it be released? And that'll happen after all of the registration and stuff happens. In the email that you get your registration from, June will send you all that information. We don't want to kind of like broadcast that necessarily. No. However, are there benefits for using hotels? Yes. Matt hires security for the hotels. So yes, very, very, very big plus for this event because we have security that roves around and make sure that all of our stuff is good to go, which is super duper cool. So yes, when you do get signed up, June will send you a hotel list, and those are there is an advantage to using those hotels 100%.
Okay, so 2 things. Brad is asking on the bikes, can you turn in one time slip for both? Okay, meaning you're
so like the fastest and the average?
Right.
Good question.
Okay. And then Danny Fatka is asking if my co-pilot is in their car, can they carry any of my stuff?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
That's what I thought.
No, absolutely not.
Cody is asking if we've had any issues with car theft at hotels. No, but events all over the country do all the time.
Well, and I'm not going to say we haven't had any problems. Like that was the whole point of putting in the security, was because I don't think we did have one situation where some tools were stolen out of one of our trailers. There was some other stuff that was off-site that had nothing to do with necessarily our hotels. I know Bill had his car at the gas station and somebody stole his laptop out of there. Right. And then somebody else was on their way home and their truck got broken into or whatnot. But we decided right after we had the first incident that we were going to make sure that we keep, and I'm telling you right now, like if you end up in the wrong area and you decide to, go to the cheaper hotels or whatever, and I hate to, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but it is, because where they are in some places, you can go 3 or 4 blocks and you can be in a bad area. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. You're on your own in that sense. So if you go in the areas where we give you the hotels, we're doing everything we can to keep everything safe, and we have not had any issues whatsoever with security. Like the hotels that we have, some of them actually have their own security. We're taking some measures with some of our areas. A lot of people think that Pueblo is a bad place. I think it's just like any bigger city anymore where there is definitely issues, just like there is anywhere. But the track and myself are working with the police department to help us get more patrol. The track or the hotels have their own security. Plus we have Mike and his guys that run all night long. Like, we've had the cops called on our own guys because our own guys are spending too much, going through so many times. So that tells you how much they're actually spending time at these hotels. That people are taking notice and actually calling the cops thinking that they're not supposed to be there. So,
well, and that's a good point too, because Matt and June have been very diligent also about working with local law enforcement. And they are, they have committed to, to being extra diligent while we're in town as well. So, the one question Burndown asks in the hot rod class, it says no beadlocks. Do old school rim screws count as a beadlock? And the answer is no.
You can run screws for sure, just not a legit beadlock.
Yeah,
it's just more of the spirit of the class. That's the only reason that we.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Your old school cars would have not had beadlocks on them.
No, they didn't exist. Brian Carmy is asking, are there any discounts in using the Race Week hotels? And there are group rates. So yes,
it's a tough deal. Yeah, it's a tough deal with that. We've tried it before, and sometimes there's a couple places that work with us, but for the most part, it ends up being a total nightmare and it doesn't really work. So we do our best with that, but it's not a guaranteed thing.
Honestly, if it's a deal, it's like $10.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If $10 a night's going to ruin your entire week, then you're in for a treat, because this is going to be like about $3,000.
And don't forget that if you find a better deal on, hotels.com or something else for the same hotel, then do it that way.
Then do it.
Yeah, go for it.
Justin Willis, can 2 different people race the same car in 2 different classes? Of course.
Totally.
Yeah.
One person.
2 different people can do it in the same class.
Yeah, that's it.
You can
race the same class with 2 different people, or you can run 2 different classes with 1 person or 2 people. So yeah.
And
absolutely.
Vince Rui's asking maybe if you're going to build a car for him, which is weird because he's got my car to build. I don't know. It's very strange. But so Rui, get to work. There's a white Monza in the front of your place that needs finished.
Hey, if you are looking for a good time on an event this year, all you have to know is that Vince Rui is at our events, and he is an absolute riot. That dude is. If you don't have a good time hanging out with Vince, then you should stay home.
Well, you have bad gas at Mimi's probably.
Yeah, and Vince is one of our people that have been into every one of our events from the beginning.
He's a sponsor.
So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
He's been a sponsor, I think, since day one. I mean, Vince is the real shit for sure.
He is. He's convinced his wife to come with him all the time.
She's gonna compete with the Nova in the 10-0 class.
I know.
He took her for a ride in it, and
sorry about your neck.
Yeah, sorry about your neck. Yeah, and now she's hooked. Now she's hooked. So
I forgot about the sorry about your neck.
yeah, she took her for a ride and had a short back, and she pow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he
it's
looks
good.
at her. Sorry about your neck. He's like, yeah, sorry you're not getting any of this for the next month.
Michael Baragigos. I need to know how to say your name if you're joining up, by the way, because I'm terrible
why
at
does
names.
it even matter? If he told you and put it phonetically on paper, you'd still get it wrong.
I'd still screw it up. But yes, you can camp at the tracks. Every one of those tracks will allow you to camp. Yeah. So the new trailer rule is a single axle trailer, period. So if you have like a pop-up camper or something that only has a single axle, you can totally do that, and you can stay in that camper at the racetrack.
Yes. And well, I'm not even going to bring it up. Later we'll talk about another thing you could do too, but whatever. All right. So anything else that you absolutely want to talk about, Matt, since we have I don't know why it surprises me, but I think everybody got good info today.
They did. I think only thing is, if you're at the tracks, be respectful of the tracks, pick up your trash, make sure your oil gets to the oil dumps. Don't leave any of that stuff in their parking lots. Try to contain your oil messes to the minimum, because obviously they have other people that come race there and they don't need to be running through our oil. So be respectful that way. Have a good time. Show up with the attitude that you're there to have fun. If you win, that's always a great thing, but just show up and have a good time. And I guarantee you we're going to ruin your life if you've never done this before. So.
Oh yeah. And
it's the most fun you can have with your pants on.
Yes. And he says it all the time. And yet pants are optional. So it's whatever. But
yeah, if you actually do the drives with pants on, are you actually doing the drives?
No. The other thing to remember is, man, go say hi to everybody. Introduce yourself to people. Do not ever, ever, ever leave the racetrack by yourself unless you absolutely have to, because it's 4 a.m. And then you've done something wrong, because you should still have people with you. But just get with a big group, cruise down the road. You never know what's going to happen at a little old podunk gas station that sells soft serve ice cream in the heat in Kansas. I mean, it just might happen.
I bet it will.
I'm feeling nice and warm right now.
I know, me too.
But no, for real. And Chad, that ain't no shit, guys. Find yourself someone to hang out with, and find yourself a different person to hang out with every day. Pit with someone new. It doesn't matter, again, if you got a 14-second car and that guy next to you has a 6-second car, they're still going to enjoy having you next to them and hanging out and telling jokes and having a good time and, mooning people as they go cruise around in the pits and things like that. Yeah,
sometimes that 6-second car likes your 14-second car to be around, because you're probably going to be able to give them a ride to the freaking parts store.
That's right, when the Mini's broken.
Right. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to sponsor a Mini and has a good, reliable one, let me know, because we need one. So
we need a Mini. Yeah,
and wait, last year. And do you know why there's a Mini required? Because what? I blame Daphne on part of this. Okay. Because you will remember that, second year, she was teaching the boys how to do a burnout in the golf cart with the rest of us holding the thing. You'll remember, and they may or may not have taken that too close to heart with the Mini. And
the clutch might have. Well, we've replaced the clutch. We've replaced the turbo. We've replaced the last year. It looked like it was fogging for every kind of bug that there possibly was. It ended up being the valve cover and the turbo, and then now it's overheating. And I'm just giving up. The hood latch broke, and I said that's enough, and I parked it, and I'm not looking at it no more. So it just needs to be replaced. So
I like it. So
if you have a cheap car that is roughly the size of a Mini.
Well, it's got to be a Mini or one of those Fiats. That's the only thing we're going to do, because nothing else fits for what we're doing. We got to be able to have giraffes fit in really small cars. It just makes for great pictures. So
yes, Brian Glover. And it has to get in the trailer with everything else.
Correct.
Yeah. Brian Glover says that he'll fix your Mini pro bono. So there you go. So you can shut down the Mini shop
and you can hit up Matt.
Yeah, you can shut down the Mini shop and you can rebuy the coupe.
Yeah.
Since you sold the coupe to start the Mini shop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to restart. No, the coupe ain't for sale. I tried buying it back. It doesn't work.
So yeah, Brian Glover, get a hold of him.
Well, I'm afraid that it's to the point that there's something with the oil pressure problem. So I think it actually needs a short block
he
now.
may
That's
be
the problem.
a mini mechanic that knows things.
Well,
you
maybe
know?
maybe
Brian probably has a couple of short blocks because he's
might.
got nitrous on his and blew it up a couple of times.
Okay, well, then when it comes back, it needs to have flared fenders and white tires and a spoiler on the back, and we're just getting out of control now. So
Brandon Parker says, Matt, I have a mini, just need a way to get it up from Arkansas.
There you go.
We can make that work.
Yeah,
we'll work something out. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for having me on for an hour and 45 minutes, talking about 25 minutes of actual stuff and about an hour and 15 minutes of just bullshit, which is super awesome. And
we were informative.
This was super cool. This was super fun.
It was. Well,
go out and drive your stuff. Go out and drive it.
Yeah, and get it. Yeah,
if you're a
veteran, get it finished, pull it out of the garage, get it ready to go for race week. Rocky Mountain Race Week registration starts if you're not a brand new or if you're not a legacy member, starts on Saturday, 9 a.m. Get yourself signed up. If you can't get in, get yourself into Road Week and pull that garbage out of the garage that's been sitting in there for 15 years and get that crap fired up and bring it out and show it off, man. And you know, again, like a 1976 Chevelle used to be the stupidest thing on the planet, and now it's cool as shit. So bring it out.
Yes. Yeah, and if you don't get your stuff out, your classic cars out and drive them, and take your wife out to go drive them, Doug Klein's going to buy that car when you die, and he's going to drive it. So you need to get out and drive it.
Yep, your kids won't know what to do with them, so he's going to drive it and take his wife to the freaking drive-in with it.
100%. 100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do appreciate it. Big thanks to all the sponsors, 1320 Video and Motion Raceworks, of course, for being our title and presenting sponsor. And to all of you guys that tuned in and everybody that's going to register, like Matt said, like Adam has said, if you don't get in, if it is sold out, sign up for free for the wait list and then get in on Road Week, and we will make sure you have a good time and are going down a racetrack in June in the Rockies. Absolutely beautiful. It's going to be badass.
Hell yeah.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Not a problem, boys and girls. We will see you next time. Watch out for announcements. If you have not joined RMRWers on Facebook, you need to do it now. Now is the time.
You just have to answer 3 questions. That's it. Answer 3 questions, period.
Yes, and you're good to go. We will see you all later.
Later.
Bye.